Level 1. The hunger. You are 22 years old and you want to be rich, not comfortable, not secure, rich. You don't say this out loud because it sounds wrong. Instead, you say you want to work in finance. You say you're interested in markets. You say you want to create value. What you mean is you want the car, the apartment, the table at the restaurant where they don't write prices on the menu. You've wanted this since you were a kid, and you've never fully admitted it to yourself, and that's fine. Hunger doesn't need a justification, it just needs a direction. You study economics or mathematics or both. You graduate with honors. You apply to every investment bank on Wall Street, Goldman, Morgan Stanley, J.P. Morgan, Citadel. You send 40 applications. You get 6 interviews. You get 2 offers. You take the better one without negotiating because you're 22 and terrified and grateful. Your start date is in 6 weeks. You buy 2 suits. They cost more than your first month's rent. You wear one to the office on day 1 and realize immediately that everyone else's suits are better than yours. You make a note of this. You will not make this mistake again. Level 2. The analyst. Your first year on a trading desk is an education in how small you are. You work 90 hours a week. You build models in Excel that take 14 hours to complete and get reviewed in 4 minutes. You fetch coffee not because anyone asks you to, but because reading the room tells you that's what you do right now. You read the room constantly. Reading the room is half the job. Your base salary is $85,000. In New York City, after tax and rent, this is not as much as it sounds, but the bonus comes in February. Your first bonus is $40,000. You receive it on a Tuesday and by Wednesday you've already calculated what next year's bonus might be if you perform better. You are always calculating what comes next. You watch the senior traders, not just what they trade, how they move, how they talk to clients, how they deliver bad news without apology, how they occupy a room. You are studying a language that has nothing to do with finance and everything to do with power. You learn it carefully, you practice it alone. After 2 years you are good at this job. After 3 years you are very good. After 4 years a senior portfolio manager pulls you into a glass-walled office and asks if you've ever thought about the buy side. You have thought about nothing else. Level 3. The associate. You join a mid-size hedge fund in Midtown. $4 billion under management. 60 employees. The lobby has original art and a receptionist who greets you by name on your second day. This is a different world. On the sell side, you are a cost. Here you are an investment. The fund has paid to acquire you and they expect a return. The pressure is the same, but the texture is different, quieter, more personal, more permanent feeling. You cover a sector. Consumer discretionary. You know every public company in it, every earnings call, every analyst estimate, every supply chain dependency. You build a thesis on a retailer that the market has mispriced. You present it to the portfolio manager on a Thursday morning with 34 slides and 3 years of data. He listens for 8 minutes. He asks 4 questions. He approves a $40 million position. You walk back to your desk and sit very still for a moment. $40 million moving because of something you believed. Because of a thesis you built at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday with cold coffee and a Bloomberg terminal. That feeling is new. It is better than the bonus. It is better than the suits. 3 months later, the position is up 22%. You don't celebrate. Celebrating draws attention to the wins, which means attention to the losses when they come. And they will come. Level 4. The first loss. You lose $67 million in 6 weeks. Not alone. You're part of the team. The thesis was shared, the position was approved, the risk was managed, or so you thought. A macro event nobody modeled correctly hits the sector sideways. 3 of your core positions move against you simultaneously, the kind of correlation that only shows up in a crisis. You don't sleep properly for 19 days. You sit in the risk committee meeting and present the unwind plan with a steady voice and a heart rate you hope doesn't show on your face. The CIO listens. He doesn't yell. The ones who yell are amateurs. He just asks questions in a tone that makes the room temperature drop by 10 degrees. You answer every question. Afterward he tells you that everyone loses money. The ones who survive are the ones who lose it cleanly, who know why, who cut it right, who don't let one bad trade become a bad year. You lost it cleanly. You are still here. You are a different person than you were 6 weeks ago. Harder in places that needed to be harder. More careful in places that needed more care. You get back to work. Level 5. The portfolio manager. You are 34 years old and you run your own book. $600 million, your capital. Your calls, your P&L on the screen every morning with your name next to it. The fund pays you a management fee and a performance fee. If you return 18% this year, which is the number in your head, the number you've written in your notebook, the number you think about on the treadmill at 5:45 a.m., you will take home $4.2 million. You have never wanted anything the way you want to hit that number. Your days are information. Earnings calls at 7 a.m., sector checks with industry contacts, lunch with a CFO who is telling you things between the lines that he can't say directly. You are fluent in subtext now. You hear what people mean, not what they say. You hire 2 analysts. They are 24 and 26. They remind you of yourself. You are harder on them than anyone was on you, and you tell yourself this is because you care about their development. This is partially true. You return 21% that year. You sit in your apartment on New Year's Eve, the city outside the window, and you look at the number on your screen. You feel something. It doesn't last as long as you thought it would. Level 6. The launch. You leave to start your own fund. Everyone tells you it's the wrong time. The market is volatile. Raising capital is harder than it's ever been. You need at least $200 million to run a credible operation, and getting to $200 million from zero is a full-time job that competes directly with actually managing the money. You do it anyway. You raise $180 million in 8 months. Mostly from people you've built relationships with over 10 years, family offices, a sovereign wealth fund, 3 funds of funds who believe in your track record. Every meeting is a performance. You are selling yourself, your process, your edge, your character. You are asking people to trust you with their wealth, and you have to look like someone who deserves that trust even on the days you're not sure you do. You sign the lease on an office in Midtown. Glass walls, a trading floor, a conference room with a view of the park. You hire 8 people. You are responsible for their salaries, their health insurance, their careers. Day 1, you sit at the head of the table in the morning meeting. 8 people looking at you. $180 million waiting for direction. You give it. Level 7. The weight. Running your own fund is not what you imagined. It is bigger than you imagined and smaller at the same time. The performance pressure is constant and total. Every week, your investors receive a report. Every month, they see the number. Every quarter, you get on calls and explain the positioning, the thesis, the drawdowns, the outlook. You are always performing, always justifying, always one bad quarter away from redemptions that could unravel everything you built. You manage this pressure in public with complete calm. In private, it sits on your chest like something with weight. Your marriage is intact but different. Your wife understands the work in the abstract but not in the texture of it, not what it means that your phone is on the nightstand at 3 a.m. because Tokyo is open, not what it costs you to be present at dinner when a position is moving against you in after-hours trading. She is patient. You know her patience is not infinite. You don't examine this too closely. You have more money than you ever planned to have. The apartment is right, the car is right, the table at the restaurant is yours without asking. What you didn't plan for is that the wanting doesn't stop. You hit the number and the number moves. It is always further away than it was. You are beginning to suspect this is not a feature of the goal. It is a feature of you. Level 8. The room. You are in a room that most people don't know exists. A private dinner, 12 people. A former Fed chairman, 2 sovereign wealth fund managers, a senator who sits on the banking committee, and several people whose names you recognized before you met them and whose power you underestimated even then. The conversation is not about money directly. It's about policy, about cycle positioning, about geopolitical risk, in language so precise and loaded that a transcript would be meaningless without the context of who said it and why. You listen more than you speak. You've learned that in rooms like this, the person who speaks least is usually the one who belongs most. You drive home at midnight and think about what was said. You adjust 2 positions before you sleep. This is the part of the job that has no name in the job description. The access. The information that isn't inside information but exists at the exact edge of it. The understanding that markets are not purely mathematical, they are political, social, human. And that the people in that room are part of the mechanism. You are part of the mechanism now. You're not sure how you feel about that. You don't spend too long finding out. Level 9. The number. Your fund manages $3.2 billion. You are 47 years old. Your net worth has 9 figures. You have achieved every specific material thing you wrote down in a notebook at 22, and several things you didn't know to write down because you couldn't have imagined them yet. People call you for advice. People write about you. A profile in a financial magazine describes you as one of the most consistent performers of your generation. You read it once and put it away. It describes someone you recognize but doesn't fully capture the cost of becoming him. You think sometimes about the $67 million loss, the 19 nights without sleep, the risk committee meeting with the dropping temperature. You think about the analyst you were at 24, building models until 2 a.m., watching the senior traders and learning the language of power. You wonder what he would think of where you ended up. You think he would be satisfied. You think satisfaction and happiness are different things and that he didn't know that yet. You do know it now. You're still deciding what to do with that knowledge. Level 10. The desk. It is 6:47 a.m. You are at your desk before anyone else arrives. This has been true for 25 years and it will probably always be true because the market doesn't wait and neither do you, and some things become so wired into you that they stop being choices. The screens are lit. Futures are moving. There's a macro event in Europe that's going to ripple into the open and you've already adjusted your exposure and sent a note to the team that will be waiting in their inboxes when they arrive. You have $3.2 billion of other people's money and the entire responsibility of what happens to it today. You have never once taken that lightly. This is either your greatest strength or the thing that has cost you the most. Probably both. Most things at this level are probably both. The market opens in 73 minutes. Somewhere, a 22-year-old in a new suit is walking into a trading floor for the first time. Heart going. Eyes open. Wanting everything. He has no idea how long this road is. He has no idea what it takes. You wouldn't tell him even if you could. Some things you have to earn the hard way or they mean nothing at all.